Welcome into this week's edition of the Railsplitter Athletics Report. Again, I'm your host. My name is Adam Haley. Tonight, we're going to talk some round ball. It's time to get back into basketball now inside of the mid part of the first month of 2017. Only a few weeks left to go before we get into conference tournaments and then the NCAA tournaments. Before we get into all that, again, we want to let you know our guest for tonight is men's basketball coach Josh Schertz and women's basketball coach Krystal Evans as we talk about their runs toward that conference tournament and the NCAA tournament. Let's tell you about some results from this past weekend. The women's bowling team was at the Midwinter Invitational that was out in Jonesboro, Arkansas. They went 6-6 in their 12 matches. Their wins included victories over top 25 teams Monmouth and Valparaiso. So good job to the women's bowling team. They'll have another meet coming up, or another weekend coming up, and we'll tell you about that a little bit later on in tonight's show. Women's and men's basketball, they only have one game this past week, if you can believe it or not. They were at Tusculum this past Wednesday. Both teams victorious in that one. The women's basketball team, a winner 83-71, still undefeated on the season, at now 16-0, ranked inside of the top 10 of the WBCA top 25. Men's basketball also victorious 90-68 in that victory over Tusculum in Greenville. They improved to 13-4 overall on the season. We got a big plan for show ready for you. We're going to talk a lot of basketball. When we return, we'll talk to Krystal Evans here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
Pinnacle Performance Physical Therapy wants you to know you have a choice where to receive physical and occupational therapy. We take an individualized approach to treating people of all ages. Our therapist's goal is to assist all patients by reaching their pinnacle performance in school, work, and play. We have state-of-the-art equipment such as our Alter-G anti-gravity treadmill, used to rehabilitate injuries and pain throughout the body's lower extremities. Contact us for an appointment at 423-869-9923. Pinnacle Performance Physical Therapy, 362 Catalpa Avenue, Harrogate.
Whether institutional case good or architectural woodwork, Nolan Products Incorporated of Knoxville has been serving East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, and Southeast Kentucky since 1958. From concept to finish, Nolan Products custom builds to the highest quality standards to meet your facility specifications while using only the finest materials available. Nolan Products has been serving and meeting the needs and requirements of general contractors and architects in East Tennessee and surrounding area for more than 55 years. Nolan Products Incorporated, 912 Forsyth Street Northeast, Knoxville.
Are you looking for efficient, compassionate, and comprehensive health care for you and your family? If you are, visit Lincoln Memorial University Medical Clinics in Harrogate and New Tazewell. All healthcare providers are faculty members of LMU's DeVos College of Osteopathic Medicine and are board certified in their specialty. Multiple specialties available are family medicine, pediatrics, internal medicine, OBGYN, geriatrics, and osteopathic manipulative medicine. Locations at Harrogate and New Tazewell. Most insurance plans are accepted. The University Medical Clinic is here to serve you. Call 423-869-7190 for an appointment.
It's the Old Town Grill.
The Old Town Grill is a special place where you bring more than family, more than friends. Bring a hearty appetite, because at the Old Town Grill, you'll never walk away hungry. A delicious change from the ordinary. The perfect place to bring the entire family. The best food and plenty of it. Join the fun and treat your appetite to something special.
It's the OTG.
The OTG is the place to be.
Welcome back into the Railsplitter Athletics Report. As promised, now we're going to talk some women's basketball with women's basketball coach Krystal Evans. And Coach, first question I want to ask you, not trying to be, I guess, mean or demeaning or anything, but looking back from the preseason to now, you're sitting at 16-0. One of only, I guess, a handful, maybe less than a handful of Division II college basketball teams that are undefeated. Did you see 16-0 in October, November, or?
I thought we had the talent, and I definitely thought we had the leadership to be 16-0. But, I mean, to say that I'd put money on it, no. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to, win each game, and it's hard to go undefeated. And so I understand how special it is. But I do, like I said, think we had the talent and the leadership. It just was whether or not we were going to put it all together.
Looking back to last year, there were a lot of close games here and there, and it's almost like your team in the off season found what needed to be done to get over the hump. I've talked to other people that when you get teams that get so close sometimes, it's like if I can just get that one, get the momentum, get the confidence, it turns into something great. And it looks like your team finally got that, starting with Lander at the start of the year to now.
I totally agree with you. Last year we had 9 games that were in overtime and 2 that I believe that were in double overtime. And we pulled some of those out. We didn't pull some of those out. And it's just, it's hard to lose like that when you're so close. And I felt like last year we were in every game. I mean, the only game that we lost in double digits was Anderson, the very last game. And so, I think that definitely resonated with the players, and they really resolved themselves over the summertime to not let that happen again.
You look at your team, all of them, most of them went through last year. Here they are again this year. They went through it. They know what it's like, and I'm thinking they're using it, kind of going with the motivation part, the confidence. They're using it as that tool. We don't want to lose. We want to be that team now, and I think you'd see the same thing.
Well, I think, too, last year, it was just kind of, we want to get to Furman. We want to get to Furman, and we did. And then, we lost. And now I think the girls realize, man, we were just setting our goals so low. Not only do we want to get to Furman, we want to do some damage while we're there. We want to stay there. And it's one thing to tell them as a coach, but, for them to realize it themselves, obviously you can see the difference it's made. And, I'm happy. It's like, I'm not happy that we lost last year. Again, we had a great group of seniors, and I really wanted something special for them. And, but hindsight, they did do something special. They did something that we hadn't, been able to accomplish before. And so I hope that those girls know you're really setting the tone for what's happening this year. I don't ever think that you're not a part of it. And I get text messages from Stephanie and Courtney and them, and just talking about how proud they are of the girls and things like that. And again, they really, ignited the fire that's going on right now.
You take a look at your team, and me and Mike talked about this last in the volleyball season. One of the things when they had their special year, they were deep. They had a lot of depth. And you take a look at your team, and people have asked me, what sets LMU apart now that they're still undefeated? And you look at it, and I guess the easy answer is Megan Pittman, because she had all preseason accolades. But when you look at your team, honestly, on the court, it's not just one person. Pittman may get the star, if you say that will, around her, but there's other players like the twins, like Josie Hart. We have to talk about Josie every week. She has 3 career 20-plus rebound games. That's what I see. It's a team effort, and you all go deep down the bench.
It really is, and I can't brag on the girls enough. But if you go back and you look at the games, there's some consistent play from Shay Coker and Josie and Megan. But again, we wouldn't have won at Queens had it not been for Ross Mathis. She really stepped up and hit some big shots for us. The twins, honestly, if you go all the way back to Lander, Rachel's the one that hit the game-winning layup against them, and it's just. We've got people that come in, Sydney Duggins, she's had big games for us. Deja Maxwell, I could go on and on and on. And it's just, Gerda's coming in, and she's playing well for us now. And we need them. We need, each person on the team. But it's the most valuable thing is when people are playing against. I don't know how they scout us. Who are you trying to stop? If you're focusing on Carson, then Shay's going to be open. If you're focusing on Shay, Sydney Anderson's going to be open. You just, you go back to Wingett's game. When we were in double overtime at Wingett, that was Sydney Anderson that stepped up. And it's just, we've been very fortunate to have those pieces. And our success is due to our depth.
You have a lot of balance as well. You were talking about those different players. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, that's an outside shooter. That's an outside shooter. That's an outside shooter. We mentioned Josie. Megan can go anywhere. Gerda comes in this year, and she's on the block. And here I feel like in the last month or so, she's really kind of come into her game. That has to be awesome because let's face it, fans love the three-point shot. But if you can have the rebounders on the inside, again, talking Josie's, setting records. But if you have those players on the inside block that are getting those rebounds, it sets up so much.
It does. Honestly, I feel like the last couple of games, Tusculum, Catawba, and Anderson all came down to rebounding. Again, Josie had that 23 rebound performance at Anderson, and I tell her we needed every single one of those to win that game. And but I think they understand, our team's motto. Yes, offense sells tickets and defense wins games, but rebounding wins championships, and we're trying to take it to that next level. And the girls have really, grabbed a hold of that, and it's important to them. And luckily we've got the bodies to do it.
Championship teams find a way to win. Last night or Wednesday night against Tusculum, you all come out in the first half and you're playing a little sluggish. Your team found a way in the second half to win. Catawba was nothing more than a slobber knocker on the floor. 2 heavyweights going at it, and it was a knockdown drag out, but your team found a way to win. And that's something I've seen from your team. They found the will and the way, whether it's with one way or the other, they're finding something to pull it out.
Well, I'd love to say that was, maybe some pep talks or our coaching staff, but really, if you ever look at the huddle, it's Carson Sims, getting in the huddle and talking to the girls, or it's Ross, like talk to them, or it's Megan pulling them in, or it's Josie or Sydney. I mean, this team, it's just got the best leadership. And it's not, it's one thing hearing something from your coach or your coaching staff, and we stay on them, and, we're constantly, trying to build on what we did the day before and everything, but they're invested. They're, right. I mean, they're actually coaching themselves. And I mean, it's special to see.
Second half of the conference season will start this weekend. You're on the road in Hartsville. Before we talk about the Coker matchup, you take a look. Everybody in the conference has seen you. You're going to have that target on your back now. But you have some of the bigger teams, some of the top launched teams that stood up there with you all coming to Tex Turner. Anderson's still got to come here. Wingate's still got to come here. Carson Newman's still got to come here. So that has to be great knowing the second half. You have some of the heavyweights. You went and stole it on the road. You got them at home now.
I mean, it does. Anytime that you can be at home, it's obviously a better excitement, more confidence, just a comfort type thing. But I don't want to look past anybody. I mean, we were able to go into their place and beat them. They could do the same, as much as I don't want to say that. But, the main focus for our team right now is we have to be a better team. Okay, Anderson's going to be, once we focus or face them again, they're going to be better than the first time. Catawba's going to be better than the first time. Wingate's going to be better than the first time. Carson Newman, which we're going to see, coming up, is going to be better than the first time. We have to as well.
You got to go to Hartsville, one of the longest trips in the conference this Saturday. What's the preparation going into Coker to start the second half of the conference year?
Well, Coker is going to, they're going to press us. They're going to get after us. It's going to be, a hard fight. But it's a 6-hour bus ride. It's scheduling to where you can get there to the hotel and get the girls as much rest as possible. I mean, that's honestly what our main focus is right now.
Not looking past Cokers, I know you're a coach and you don't want to look past it, but your next home game is Carson Newman. It's probably the biggest rival LMU has. You've always taken a little bit of time here. What's your pitch to the community to come out and support your team? Come out and support them as they play on Carson Newman. It's the biggest rival. It's on a Wednesday. Tell the community why they should come out.
Well, obviously Carson Newman's going to be a great game, but I've said this multiple times. This team is special. They're good people. They're not just good players. And to come out and support this group of girls, I promise you you'll be entertained, and also it'll be well spent time.
Still got about 30 seconds. I'm going to throw one more question in here. You're nationally ranked inside of the top 10. Has that sunk into the girls and you all yet? Or are you just kind of like, okay, that's a number, we're not going to worry about it?
Well, yes, it has sunk in, and we're very proud that, people are actually taking notice of our team. But again, our focus is conference first, and then let's get step one down, and then we'll move forward and focus on whatever happens next.
All right, Coach, good luck this weekend against Coker, and I'm sure we'll talk to you as you continue on your magical season.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with more Railsplitter Athletic Support right after this.
Make K&K Metal Sales your only stop for all your residential and commercial metal building needs. For the past 23 years, K&K Metal Sales has covered the tri-state area with quality custom roofing and siding with many grades, gauges, and colors in stock. If you're looking for complete steel or wood building packages or steel or wood trusses, K&K Metal Sales can help with that, as well as heavy-duty custom carports. Great folks and great prices. Stop by K&K Metal Sales located at 6986 Cumberland Gap Parkway or call 423-869-4261.
Welcome back into Railsplitter Athletic Support. Now joined alongside, this guy needs no introduction, men's basketball coach Josh Schertz. And Coach, here we are. We're at the midway point of the South Atlantic Conference schedule. You're at the turn. You just finished off the game against Tusculum on Wednesday evening. That was victorious. Talk about how the season's went so far, now with essentially, 6-7 weeks left to go in the year.
Yeah, it's gone by quick. Certainly everybody's, a little bit probably frustrated with the results in terms of, we're 13-4 and it's always tough. We lost a couple games, kind of coin flip games that we had opportunities to win and didn't close well enough and weren't good enough to close those out. But while we're frustrated a little bit with the results, I think I'm proud of the growth of the team, and I think we've gotten a lot better over time. I think we were a much better team than we were in November and December, and certainly we're playing pretty good basketball. Have a long way to go, a lot to improve on, but we got the halfway point. We're certainly a much better team than we were here in the beginning of the season, and obviously that's the key, is to find a way to always, you got to win games and you got to improve, and that's the two things. And it's not enough to win games if you're not getting better, because if that's the case, then you're obviously, you're not going to be good enough to win games later on, and then it's not good enough to improve and not win, because it's great if you're playing unbelievable basketball at the end of the season, but if you don't make the SAC tournament, your season ends. So it's a combination of the two, and that's what we got to focus our attention on.
Something I think you've had to deal with this season that you didn't have last was injuries. Emmanuel Terry's not hit the floor in a couple of weeks. You've had a couple of different players with ankle injuries or this or that, and I'm sure that's something that your team as a whole has had to come together around.
Yeah, it's tough. Anytime you have part of winning championships is you got to be really good. And the other part is you got to be fortunate. And fortunate is a lot of things. It's the breaks in a close game. It's injuries. We've been really fortunate over the last couple of years that we haven't had to deal with any type of really significant injuries to mainstay players. Emmanuel was hurt some in the first semester last year, but he wasn't a mainstay guy last year. In the beginning of the year, he wasn't even a starter. So this year is a little bit different, but he's obviously out and been out with a broken foot here, and then obviously Deshaun with the ankle, and so we're playing a little bit shorthanded. It's a part of it. Other guys got to step up, and I think for the most part we have. We've got to play a little differently. We're fortunate we have a guy like Dorian that could kind of slide up and play a forward and kind of take the starting position of Emmanuel, and he was playing obviously the guard before, and I think Chris has played better, and Paul Woods and Hunter Spa, two guys with the bench. So it's giving guys opportunities. It's certainly shortened our rotation, narrowed our margin for error. Foul trouble's much more difficult to handle, and obviously we couldn't afford any other injuries. But so far the 7 that are playing are doing a good job, and we're battling. And outside of the Queens game, which we had chances in, we've managed to string together here a pretty good stretch. When you look at the team as a whole and on the floor, there's a lot of players that we're not used to seeing, newcomers or different pieces, transfers. Have they come in and embraced the fact that LMU is the hunted when it comes to the South Atlantic Conference? And a few teams have got us this year, and I think the conference as a whole is better than it was last year, and we'll talk about that in a second. But have they embraced the fact that they are now the hunted? Well, I think I think they understand the tradition and the history that we have here. I also think it's every year is a new deal, and so for these guys coming in, Chris Perry or Trayvon Shaw, I think it's more about them trying to understand how we go about our business here, what's important here. When you come in from somewhere else, we don't do it necessarily any better than anybody else does it. We just do it differently in the way we do it, and they have to understand what we value here, what we do offensively, what we do defensively, what we believe goes into winning. And so all those things are variables. Whether you're a freshman or a transfer, those are things you have to figure out here. And we've had a pretty good core group of guys, with Luquan Choice and Dorian Pinson and Paul Woodson and Hunter Spa and even Emmanuel Terry that have been here for a couple of years, that have won a lot of games, that played in the national championship game last year, have hosted the region the last couple of years, and they understand, hey, this is what goes into winning. This is what you got to do to be an elite team. And so I think we're seeing better play from those guys. I think we're seeing more buy-in relative to, this is what we got to do to individually to play well, and for this group to be successful, and understanding that, hey, at the end of the day, that's what we're all here to do, is try to become the best possible team we can be, and see where that takes us. And so I think that's been the area that probably we've been a little bit better in as time has gone on, as those guys kind of figuring out not necessarily the past stuff, but just understanding, hey, this year this is what we got to do. This is the blueprint. This is how we do things, and let's get on board with this, even if the way we did it somewhere else was different.
You're at the halfway point of the conference schedule. Taking a look, you all, Wingate's exactly who we thought they would be at this point. Carson Newman's back up. Queens is still leading the South Atlantic Conference. Talk about the conference as a whole. Do you feel it's stronger this year than it was last year?
Maybe top to bottom. The upper echelon is probably not quite as strong. When you look at last year, we had, I think our 4th place team made the regional championship in Lenore-Rhine. But I think there's really right now Queens, which is kind of separated itself. They have a 2-game lead, and then really 2 through like 7, 8 is jumbled, right? I mean, I think there's a bunch of teams with somewhere between 8 wins, which is where we are and Carson Newman is, and then I think 5 wins is like 9th or 10th, so 9th maybe. So you have a lot of teams that are 5 and 6 all the way to 8 and 3, and you know, Wingett's a team like you mentioned. They struggled out of the gate. Didn't have Isaiah Curitin. They weren't playing a hole at that point, and he comes back and they're 1 and 4 in the league at that point, and now they've won 7 straight games, including beating Queens last night. So a lot of it is stuff like that. I think Wingett's definitely on an uptick. Queens is outstanding, national championship good. I think we're in the mix of teams there with a lot of others. You know, Wingate, Carson Newman, Newberry, just a bunch of the teams, Lenore Ryan, etc. That are kind of all in the mix of trying to. You know, these next 11 games are really going to obviously be interesting. There'll be a lot of tough games, and at the end, you know, you gotta win games. You got to beat people to kind of get where you're trying to get to. We have to figure out a way to win some games, and again, continue to improve and develop in terms of what we got to do to become an elite team.
I guess congratulations, your record will stay intact since there's no undefeateds left in the conference. But you look at that, as you're talking about the top teams, you've got Queens still got to come here. Wingate still got to come here. Newman comes here next week. You still have to go to Newberry, but for the most part, it looks like the second half of the schedule may set up well for you all.
Yeah, we get more teams at home. You know, I always think it's better. I mean, obviously you want to play at home, it's better, but I think it's always more important, you know, how you're playing as opposed to who you're playing or where you're playing. You know, you can be, if you're playing well, then playing a great team on the road is fine. If you're playing not so good, then you could play them in your backyard and it's not going to go well. So, but I agree. It certainly we have to make that swing again now. We get to kind of reset the schedule, and you know, starts with Coker, but the back half of the league is now, it's, you know, now everybody's kind of jockeying for positions. As the games get less, they take on more significance, right? I mean, that would just make sense. As it gets deeper in the season, each game takes on more significance, and at some point, if you're fortunate, you're playing in do or die games. And so, you know, as we get down now, there's 11 games left. They all take on added significance. Everybody is trying to fight for positioning, whether it's, you know, to win the league, to get a conference home game, to qualify for the conference tournament. And then you got, you know, obviously postseason, NCAA, so there's a lot of things everybody's playing for, a lot at stake each and every night. And again, that's the key is to focus on what we got to do to get better, and then try to go out and execute and see if we can, you know, string together here a stretch and try to play well enough to earn some wins. And in this conference, as you know, it never comes easy.
3 of your next 4 are on the road, but you start off with going to Coker, down to Hartsville. The sponsorless Cobras.
Yeah.
You'll be going down to Hartsville. So what's the preparation now? Because I know it's one of the longer trips in the conference. What's the preparation going to Coker?
Well, we'll try to do what we always do, and we'll leave early Friday morning and really get down there, and we have a late practice, and we'll try to run the trip out of them. You know, it's such a long trip. You get down there, the worst thing you do, I think, is practice here, get down there super late, and everybody's kind of, so we'll try to get down there early enough to check in the hotel quickly and watch some film, and then we'll try to go and have a short but physical practice on Friday. Today will be more of just a mental preparation day, a lot of film. We'll go through some stuff. We'll certainly practice, but keep it short. Tomorrow will be short as well, but it'll be physical and aggressive, and then hopefully we're set up to get to go out and play well and on Saturday. And good team, and I think a team that's much better than one that was here December 3rd. They're playing a little differently. They've played a couple tough games here, lost a couple close ones, but Eric's got them playing hard, and as you said, you know, schmotcherless, but a lot of what they're known for in terms of their toughness and physicality, that's carried over into the Eric Samuel era.
A very tenacious team.
They definitely are. They definitely are.
But so good luck this weekend. You got Coker. Next time the men's and women's basketball teams will be at home. Again, it's the Carson Newman game. That's next Wednesday. It's going to be we got to pack the night. We got to pack the crowd that night.
Yeah,
so.
We got to get a good crowd. Love to see some good energy in here. Obviously, that's one that everybody here locally circles on their calendar because of the history and the rivalry and tradition. So hope to see everybody out Wednesday night. It'll be 8 o'clock for us, 6 o'clock for the girls, and you know, we'll look forward to hopefully having our best crowd of the year to this point.
Right, sounds good. Thanks, Coach. And
Thanks, Adam.
Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
Be right back with more Railsplitter Athletic Support right after this.
If you enjoy lakes, boating, mountains, and great food, you'll love Norris Landing Marina in Claiborne County, Tennessee. Located off Lone Mountain Road, Norris Landing Marina has these benefits for you. A 170-slip marina with seasonal rental slips, rental pontoon and pleasure boats, vacation cabins and cottages, a 23-space RV park, and Jimmy's Place Restaurant. Great food and casual dining in an on-the-water setting. Contact us and make the Norris Landing Marina your enjoyment destination.
Juggling my family schedule is a full-time job. Between school, dance practice, work, there's little time left to worry about much else. That's why I use real-time banking from Home Federal Bank. With real-time banking, I know that when I make a deposit, the money goes straight to my account. No delays, no waiting, no wondering. And I get to focus on what's important.
Real-time deposits, real-time access, real-time banking. From Home Federal Bank, always within reach.
Who's next?
Me.
Wait.
This week at Food City, get fresh ground chuck, $2.99 a pound. Rare Golden Delicious apples, $2.99 a bag. Kraft mayonnaise, $1.99, and more.
Value every day. Food City.
Established in 1982, Dixie Roofing Incorporated of La Follette has been the industry's leader in commercial roofing throughout Knoxville, Tennessee, and surrounding counties for more than 30 years. From medical facilities to office buildings and educational institutions, Dixie Roofing has the experience, expertise, equipment, and know-how to handle roofing needs of any commercial structure, big or small. Dixie Roofing is also on the web at www.dixieroofing.com. Dixie Roofing Incorporated.
Welcome back in as we finish off this week's edition of the Railsplitter Athletics Report. I want to thank our guests for tonight, Josh Schertz and Krystal Evans, and also wish them good luck as they go forth. Again, they are at Coker down in Hartsville, South Carolina this weekend. That is a 2 to 4 o'clock start, women at 2, the men at 4. LMU Sports Network will have coverage starting at 1:40 p.m. That's on 91.3 FM WLMU. They will actually be back at home on Wednesday taking on Carson Newman. LMU Sports Network will have radio coverage of that particular contest, but we will not have televised coverage of that because my VLT out of Knoxville, Pac-Man Sports, will have the coverage of that particular contest. You can catch that on regional television around the Knoxville market, as well as online on the radio, as we said, on 91.3 FM. Other sporting events going on this weekend. Men's volleyball, they are in Springfield, Ohio this weekend for 3 matches. On Friday, they'll take on Wittenberg. And Saturday, they'll take on Cincinnati Christian University and then Mount St. Joseph's before they return back to a normal schedule. Next Tuesday, they'll be on the road at Bluefield. So good luck to Coach Dan Dennis and his squad. By the way, I forgot to mention this in the first part. They won their first ever matchup last Saturday against Albertson Broadus, 3 sets to 2 over inside of the Mary Mars Gymnasium. Also, one more thing, women's bowling, they're on the road again this weekend. They're at the Kutztown Invitational. That is Friday through Sunday. So good luck to women's bowling as they go forth. For all the results of all of this, as well as schedules and everything else going on, you can go on the line to the website. That's www.lmurailsplitters.com. But that's going to do it for this week's edition. I'm Adam Haley, and we'll see you next week here on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
And now to Marion, and he busts that one.